Okay, so get this. We're diving deep into AI that's not just like crunching numbers, you know?
Yeah.
It's actually, I'm trying to think and act a lot more like us humans.
Yeah.
We're talking human-centric large language models,
Right.
or LLMs.
Yes.
And you handed us this paper,
I did.
a survey on human-centric LLMs. And to be honest, it's a little intimidating.
It's a dense one.
It is.
Yeah.
But that's why we have you here.
Absolutely.
To break it down.
Yeah.
And figure out what we really need to know.
Exactly.
What's so interesting about this whole field is it's like a total shift in how we think about AI.
It is.
Right. It really is. It's not about, beating us at chess anymore.
Exactly.
It's about trying to understand
Yeah.
the core of what makes us intelligent.
The essence of human intelligence.
Yeah, like reasoning and perception and social skills.
Exactly.
And then seeing if we can get AI to do that too.
Can AI replicate that?
Right.
That's the big question.
So it's less about like beating us at games and more about working with us.
Right.
And maybe even understanding us.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it.
Okay.
And this paper lays out all these specific skills that they're working on.
Okay.
So for instance, reasoning.
Yeah.
We're seeing LLMs get much better at logic.
Okay.
It's not just about following steps. It's about understanding the why behind things.
Oh, okay. So they're not just like memorizing facts.
They're not just memorizing.
They're actually starting to grasp concepts and come up with their own conclusions.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
So imagine you're a doctor
Okay.
and you're trying to diagnose a patient. You wouldn't just like rely on a checklist of symptoms.
No.
You would use your reasoning skills to consider all the possibilities and make the best judgment call. So researchers are trying to teach LLMs to do the same thing.
Oh, okay.
To think critically and solve problems the way a human would.
But humans are complex.
Very.
Even the best doctors sometimes get things wrong.
They do.
So how are LLMs handling that level of nuance?
It's definitely a work in progress.
Okay.
There's a lot of room for improvement. Even GPT-4, which is one of the most advanced LLMs out there, still can stumble when things get really complicated.
Oh, so they're still learning.
They are.
Okay.
No.
Learning.
What about another like really crucial human skill? Learning itself.
Yeah.
Can these LLMs adapt?
Oh, that's
as fast as we can?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
They're incredible at learning from huge data sets, but real-time adaptation, like you and I do every day.
Right.
That's still a big hurdle.
So they can like cram for a test,
yes,
but maybe not improvise during a presentation.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's a perfect analogy.
Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about perception.
Okay.
So we experience the world through our senses.
Right.
And researchers are trying to equip LLMs with similar capabilities.
So we're talking about giving AI senses.
In a way.
But how do you even begin to do that?
Well, think about pattern recognition.
Okay.
So you see a face, you instantly know it's your friend.
Yeah.
LLMs are getting really good at that.
Okay.
They're even approaching human-level performance in understanding 3D shapes.
So give me a real-world scenario where this would be like super important.
Sure.
This 3D recognition.
So let's say you're designing a self-driving car.
Okay.
It needs to instantly understand the position of everything around it. Other cars, pedestrians, buildings, so it can navigate safely.
So that spatial awareness, knowing where things are.
Spatial awareness.
And how they relate to each other.
Yeah.
That's something that LLMs are getting good at.
They're making a lot of progress.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool.
It is.
So from like diagnosing diseases to driving cars, it sounds like LLMs are becoming pretty perceptive.
They're getting there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what about analyzing information?
Right.
Making sense of data?
Yeah.
Drawing conclusions?
Okay.
Are they up to the task?
So that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
LLMs are starting to show some impressive analytical abilities.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to data interpretation. They can process huge amounts of information.
Yeah.
Pull out key insights. Yeah. And even help researchers understand those really complex scientific papers.
Exactly.
So they could actually speed up scientific discovery.
Potentially. Yes.
Wow.
So imagine an LLM that can sift through decades of climate data.
Okay.
And identify patterns that humans might miss.
Right.
Or an LLM that can analyze thousands of research papers on a new disease and pinpoint the most promising treatments.
It's like having a research assistant.
Right. That never sleeps and can read 1 million pages a minute.
Exactly.
But the paper also mentions creativity.
It does.
Which seems almost impossible for AI.
It does seem counterintuitive.
It does.
But studies show that LLMs can actually generate novel ideas and push the boundaries of human imagination.
So they're not just like...
They can compose music.
Regurgitating what they've learned. They're actually like...
Write poetry, design buildings.
Original ideas.
All with a unique style.
Wow.
It's really quite remarkable.
That is mind-blowing.
It is.
It sounds like these LLMs are already doing some pretty incredible things.
They're getting there.
Yeah. But the paper also talks about something called executive functions.
Yes.
What does that even mean?
So think of it as like the control center of your brain.
Okay.
The skills that allow you to plan.
Yeah.
Organize, make decisions.
Right.
It's what allows you to juggle multiple tasks, prioritize your time, and adapt to changing circumstances.
Exactly.
So, like being able to create a to-do list.
Yes.
Or manage a project and stay calm when things go wrong.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see LLMs develop these skills as well.
We are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, for instance, imagine an LLM that could help you plan a trip.
Right.
Taking into account like your budget and your interests.
Yeah.
And even things like flight delays.
Exactly.
That would be amazing.
Pretty handy.
No more spending hours on travel websites.
Yeah. Exactly.
But what about in those more like chaotic, real world situations?
Yeah.
Can LLMs handle that level of unpredictability?
So that's still a challenge. Yeah. They're really good at planning in structured environments. But when things get messy and unpredictable, they can struggle a bit.
So they can plan a vacation,
but
maybe not navigate like a last-minute crisis at work. That's a good way to put it.
Okay. And now for the part that really blurs the line between human and machine.
All right.
We're starting to see LLMs develop social skills.
Social skills.
AI with social skills.
I know.
That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It does.
Yeah.
But the research is showing that LLMs are getting much better at engaging in human-like conversation.
So no more like awkward robotic conversations with chatbots.
Hopefully not.
Okay.
So researchers are using role-playing scenarios.
Oh, wow.
To see how LLMs would navigate these complex social situations.
So it's like they're learning to...
It's like they're learning to
read between the lines.
Read between the lines, yeah.
And understand social cues.
Exactly.
And respond in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
It is.
It's also a little unnerving.
A little bit.
Does this mean that they're getting closer to actually understanding human emotions?
Yeah. Intentions.
So that is a big question. And it's one that researchers are really trying to figure out. Some studies suggest that LLMs are developing a basic theory of mind.
Okay, and that basically means they're starting to understand that other people have beliefs and desires.
Their own thoughts and feelings.
That might be different from their own.
Exactly.
So they're not just mimicking human conversation.
Right.
They're starting to understand.
You're starting to understand.
The thoughts and feelings behind the
quote. Underlying meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But true empathy.
Yeah.
That's still a huge challenge.
Okay.
Recognizing sadness is one thing. Feeling it.
Right.
And responding with compassion.
Right.
That's a whole other level.
Knowing that someone's upset and actually feeling empathy for them are two different things.
They're very different.
Okay, so we probably don't want an LLM
giving us relationship advice anytime soon.
Probably not the best idea.
But even that basic theory of mind has some pretty big implications.
It does.
Right?
Imagine chatbots that are more natural and engaging.
Yeah.
Virtual companions. AI that can assist with therapy.
Wow.
Or even conflict resolution.
So we're talking about AI that can work in teams.
Potentially.
Collaborate with humans and navigate the complexities of human relationships.
So researchers are exploring this using something called multi-agent systems.
Okay.
So imagine a team of LLMs working together on a project, sharing information, brainstorming ideas.
So like they're learning from each other.
Forming their own little societies in the digital world.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
But they're still a long way from like replicating the dynamics of a human team.
Or especially in a really complex, fast-paced environment.
Yeah. Human collaboration is about so much more than just sharing information.
Right.
It's about trust, intuition, a shared understanding of goals and values.
Right. So they can work together on a simple project, but maybe not negotiate a high-stakes business deal.
Exactly.
Okay.
They're still learning.
This is all so fascinating.
It is.
But it also raises a lot of questions.
A lot of questions.
Like, how do we make sure that these LLMs are developed responsibly?
Right.
How do we prevent bias?
That's a big one.
Yeah. And make sure that they're used for good.
These are crucial questions and something that researchers are very much aware of.
Okay.
As LLMs become more sophisticated, we need to be even more thoughtful about the ethical implications and make sure that they're aligned with human values.
It feels like we're on the verge of a major technological shift.
Yeah.
And it's both really exciting
It is.
and a little bit daunting.
It is both of those things.
This paper really makes it clear that we're just at the beginning of this human-centric LLM revolution.
Absolutely.
This has been quite a deep dive already.
It has.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
We've talked about everything from AI learning to reason and perceive to the mind-blowing idea of AI developing social skills.
It's amazing.
Now, before we move on to how this is being applied in different fields, let's take a quick pause to let our listener absorb all this incredible information.
Take it all in.
I mean, AI that can understand 3D space and maybe write a screenplay.
It's mind-blowing.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
We'll be right back to continue our deep dive into the world of human-centric LLMs.
Sounds good. Welcome back.
Okay, so we're back.
I'm really excited to unpack how these human-centric LLMs are like revolutionizing research across all these different fields. And the paper breaks it down really nicely into individual and collective domains.
So let's start with the individual domains. I'm thinking like psychology, maybe literature.
Exactly.
Places where understanding the individual mind is key.
Yeah, so things like behavioral science, psychology, linguistics, those are all great examples. Researchers are actually using LLMs to simulate human behavior in controlled environments.
So instead of observing humans in a lab, they're observing AI.
It's like
a digital petri dish.
A digital petri dish for studying the mind.
Okay.
So they're looking at how LLMs form relationships.
Wow.
How they resolve conflicts, even how they exhibit cognitive biases.
All within like a controlled virtual space.
Exactly.
What are some of the specific insights that they're gaining from these experiments?
One study used LLMs to explore the dynamics of online communities. They created a virtual community of LLM agents. Each one had like a unique personality and biases. And they watched how those biases influenced the spread of information.
Wow. That's really relevant to everything happening online these days.
It's a very timely area of research.
So what about psychology?
All right.
How are LLMs being used to study the human mind itself?
So they're using LLMs to model different cognitive processes. Like, can they replicate things like memory, learning, decision-making?
So they're trying to build AI that thinks like us, not just acts like us. And one of the areas...
One of the most fascinating areas is looking at whether LLMs can develop this thing called theory of mind.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
We did.
That's like the foundation for empathy and social intelligence.
It is, yeah.
It's what allows us to understand why someone's upset, even if they don't say it out loud.
Exactly.
And some studies are saying that LLMs...
Yeah, some early studies are suggesting that LLMs might be developing this.
So they're not just responding to words. They're actually like inferring meaning.
They're starting to pick up on those cues.
From context and nonverbal cues.
Yeah.
One study showed that LLMs could understand indirect requests.
They could.
Wow.
And even like anticipate the needs of others.
That's incredible.
Based on past behavior.
It really seems like these LLMs are starting to bridge the gap.
It's really fascinating.
Between human and machine intelligence.
Yeah.
Now, what about linguistics?
Okay.
How are LLMs shaping our understanding of language itself?
They're becoming powerful tools for analyzing how language works.
Okay.
So they can identify patterns, analyze syntax, even generate different styles of text.
So they're not just learning languages.
It's true.
They're becoming masters of them.
Yeah, they're going deep.
Capable of analyzing Shakespeare. And writing haikus.
And some researchers are even using them to create brand new languaes. I know.
That's amazing.
Exploring the very building blocks of human communication.
So we've covered how LLMs are being used to study the individual, behavior, psychology, language.
Right.
Now let's zoom out.
Okay.
Talk about the collective domains.
Right.
What kind of research is happening in fields like political science or sociology?
This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
So in collective domains, researchers are using LLMs to simulate these large-scale social phenomena.
Okay.
Things like political elections.
So instead of just looking at one person's behavior,
Yeah.
they're simulating like entire societies.
They're creating these complex virtual worlds populated by LLM agents.
Okay.
And each agent has its own beliefs and motivations.
It's like creating a digital twin of society.
It is.
And running simulations.
And then they watch how these agents interact.
To see how different factors influence the outcome.
Exactly.
That's mind-blowing.
Imagine being able to model the impact of a new policy on voter behavior.
Yeah.
Or explore how economic conditions might affect consumer spending.
So we could use LLMs to like predict election results.
It's possible.
To forecast market trends.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember
Right.
that these are still just simulations.
Right. It's not like a crystal ball.
They're not perfect replicas of reality.
What about economics specifically?
Okay.
Are LLMs being used to study the complexities of the market
Yeah, absolutely.
and maybe predict financial trends?
Researchers are exploring whether LLMs can make rational economic decisions,
Okay.
understand market dynamics, even predict stock prices.
It's like Wall Street populated by AI traders.
So they're creating these virtual marketplaces
Wow.
where LLM agents can buy and sell, trade, just like in the real world.
Do you think that LLMs will eventually replace
That's a great question.
human economists and financial analysts?
It's a question that a lot of people are asking.
Yeah.
Well, LLMs are getting better at analyzing data and making predictions. Human intuition and experience are still really important.
So it's more likely to be like a collaboration
I think so.
between humans and AI
Yeah.
rather than a complete takeover.
A partnership.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, last but not least, sociology.
Right.
The study of human societies and cultures.
Yes.
Given all the concerns about bias in AI,
Right.
I'm really curious about this.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
Researchers are very aware of the potential for AI to perpetuate existing biases.
Right.
And they're working really hard to make sure that LLMs are developed responsibly. In fact, they're using LLMs to study social phenomena, like cultural biases, the spread of misinformation, even the dynamics of group formation and conflict.
So instead of making those problems worse, they're actually using AI to understand them.
They're trying to understand them better.
And potentially address them.
Yeah, and hopefully find solutions.
One study used LLMs to simulate the spread of rumors and misinformation online. And they looked at how different interventions could reduce their harmful effects.
Exactly.
It's like using AI to fight the dark side of the internet.
In a way, yeah.
They're also using LLMs to figure out how to promote cooperation and understanding between different groups.
Exactly.
Potentially like helping us bridge cultural divides and build more inclusive societies.
That's the hope.
It sounds like LLMs could be this powerful tool for social good.
I think so.
If used thoughtfully and ethically.
It's all about responsible development.
As promising as all this research is,
It is promising.
we should acknowledge that there are some challenges ahead.
There are definitely challenges.
Okay, let's talk about those challenges.
Right.
What are some of the hurdles that researchers are facing as they try to create these truly human-centric LLMs?
So one of the biggest challenges is real-time learning and adaptation.
Okay.
LLMs are great at learning from huge data sets, but they struggle to adapt to new information and changing circumstances in real time.
So they need a crash course in improvisation.
Basically.
They can follow a script,
Yeah.
but they're not so good at thinking on their feet.
Right.
And that's a big problem.
It is.
If we want them to interact in the real world.
Which is messy and unpredictable.
Right.
Yeah.
They can plan vacation.
They can.
But maybe not handle a sudden detour or an unexpected event.
Exactly.
What about other challenges?
Okay.
We talked about emotional intelligence.
We did.
Are there any breakthroughs in teaching LLMs to actually feel empathy?
That's a tough one.
And understand human emotions?
They're getting better at recognizing and labeling emotions.
Okay.
But true empathy, that's still elusive.
Okay.
Knowing that someone is sad is very
Yeah.
different from actually feeling their sadness.
Yeah.
Okay, and responding with compassion.
So we might not want to ask an LLM for relationship advice
Probably no.
or expect it to comfort us when we're feeling down.
Not yet, at least.
However, researchers are exploring new approaches
They are.
to modeling emotions,
Yeah.
hoping to create LLMs that can not only recognize,
Mm,
but also respond to emotions.
that's a more human-like way.
So maybe someday
Right.
we will have AI friends
It's possible.
who can understand our feelings and offer genuine support.
But it does raise some interesting ethical questions
Yeah.
about consciousness and the boundaries
Yeah.
between humans and machines.
That's a whole other deep dive
A whole other topic.
for another day.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up this section,
Okay.
let's touch on cultural competency.
Right.
We talked about the importance of LLMs,
Yeah.
understanding and respecting different cultures.
It's crucial.
Are there any advancements in addressing this?
So researchers are making progress in developing LLMs that are more culturally sensitive
Okay.
and aware.
Okay.
They're creating more inclusive training data sets, representing a wider range of languages,
Yeah.
cultures, perspective.
Well, instead of reflecting the biases of their creators,
Right.
LLMs are being trained to recognize and challenge those biases,
Yeah,
promoting understanding and inclusivity.
that's the goal.
It sounds like the future of human-centric LLMs depends not just on their technical capabilities,
It's not just about the tech.
but on their ability to understand and adapt to the social and cultural realities of our world.
Absolutely.
It's been an incredibly insightful look
It has.
at how LLMs are being used across all these fields, from
Yeah.
simulating online communities
Yeah.
to potentially predicting financial markets.
It's a wide range of applications.
Now, before we move on to the future of human-centric LLMs
Okay.
and the potential challenges and opportunities ahead,
Yeah.
let's give our listener a moment to process
Catch their breath.
all of this amazing information.
It's a lot to take in.
We'll be back shortly to continue our deep dive
Is that good?
into this fascinating world. Okay, so we're back.
Yeah.
Ready to wrap up
Yeah.
our deep dive into human-centric LLMs.
Wait.
We've covered a lot,
We have.
from their capabilities to the challenges that researchers are still working on.
Absolutely.
So what does the future hold for these AI systems that are learning to think and act more like us?
Well, the future is full of possibilities,
Okay.
but it's important to remember
Yeah.
that these LLMs are still in their early stages.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of like teenagers,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Okay.
full of potential,
Yeah.
but still figuring things out.
So they can write a poem,
Right.
maybe even compose a symphony.
Yeah,
But they might also accidentally insult your grandma at Thanksgiving dinner.
exactly.
They're learning the rules of the game,
Yeah,
but they haven't quite mastered all the nuances
not yet.
of human interaction. Okay, but the research is moving so fast.
It is.
And there are some really exciting avenues for future exploration.
Yeah.
So let's dive into some of those exciting avenues.
Okay.
What are the most promising areas of research?
All right, so one area with a ton of potential
Yeah.
is developing hybrid learning architectures.
Okay.
Instead of just relying on LLMs, researchers are looking at ways to combine them with other AI approaches
Okay.
to create systems that use the strengths of each.
So it's like assembling a dream team of AI,
That's a great way to put it.
each with their own unique skills
Exactly.
and expertise.
Yeah.
Okay, give me an example.
So for instance, using reinforcement learning techniques
Mm-hmm.
could help LLMs become more adaptable
Okay.
and learn from real-time feedback.
So like imagine an LLM
Right.
that could adjust its communication style based on your reactions, becoming more engaging and responsive.
Yeah, it's like having a personal AI tutor.
Yeah,
It's constantly learning and evolving with you.
that's amazing.
It is pretty cool.
What else?
Another really interesting area is developing more sophisticated emotional models.
Okay.
So researchers are trying to figure out
Yeah.
how to give LLMs a deeper understanding of human emotions,
So we're going beyond.
moving beyond just recognizing and labeling
Yeah.
to something closer to actual empathy.
So instead of just labeling emotions,
Right.
they're trying to teach LLMs to actually experience them.
Yeah, to feel what it's like to be
Uh-huh.
happy or sad or angry.
That's a huge challenge.
It is a huge challenge.
Because human emotions are so
Right.
complex and often irrational.
They are.
Yeah.
They're influenced by a lifetime of experiences, all sorts of subconscious biases.
To replicate that in an AI system.
That's a monumental task.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they succeed,
it would be revolutionary.
It could completely change how we interact with technology.
Imagine AI companions that can actually understand and respond to our emotions.
Giving us comfort.
Yeah. Providing support.
And even a sense of connection.
A sense of connection, yeah.
This is amazing.
It's both fascinating and a bit daunting.
It's both.
Yeah.
It raises a lot of ethical questions.
Right.
About the nature of consciousness.
Yeah.
And where do we draw the line between humans and machines?
It's like stepping into this unknown territory.
It is.
Where science fiction and reality start to blur.
Yeah, the lines get blurry.
Okay, so we talked earlier about the importance of cultural competency.
We did.
How are researchers ensuring that LLMs are developed?
It's crucial.
With this deep understanding and respect for different cultures.
So they're creating more diverse and inclusive training data sets.
Okay.
They're representing a wider range of languages, cultures, perspectives.
Yeah. So instead of just reflecting the biases of their creators, LLMs are being trained to recognize and challenge those biases.
Promoting understanding and inclusivity across cultures.
Yeah. That's what we want.
It sounds like we're not just talking about technological advancements.
It's bigger than that.
We're talking about using technology to promote social good.
Absolutely.
And create a better future for everyone.
I think so.
But with great power comes great responsibility.
It's true.
As LLMs become more sophisticated, it's not just about what they can do, but also what they should do.
It's about using them ethically.
It's like we're standing at a crossroads. We have this incredible technology, but it's up to us to decide.
Yeah, we have to make the right choices.
It's how to use it wisely and ethically.
Absolutely.
This has been a really amazing deep dive.
It has.
We've explored these capabilities, the challenges that researchers are facing, and the potential impact LLMs could have on our world.
It's been a pleasure.
And to our listener.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on this journey.
Thanks for listening.
Into the world of human-centric LLMs.
We hope you learned a lot.
We hope you gained a better understanding of this really exciting field.
It's rapidly evolving.
And the profound implications it holds for our future.
It's going to be fascinating to see where it goes.
This is just the beginning.
It is.
Stay curious, ask questions, and be a part of the conversation about how we shape the future of AI in a way that benefits all of humanity.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks.